Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Tempe City Council work study session. Item 1 is called to order. Council meetings can be watched in real time via Cox Cable Channel 11 and at tempe.gov/tempe11. Members of the public may also attend the meeting virtually through Microsoft Teams. Item number 2 is announcements from the mayor and/or city manager. Actually, I should ask, since I've got a longer announcement, Madam City Manager, any announcements this evening?
No announcement this evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Then I will go back to my announcements, which is item 2A, Armenian delegation welcome and photo. So I'm going to read these names off, and then I can join you down along with the council for a photo. And please understand, if I mess up any names, please do not hate me. I love you all, and I really appreciate you being here. Okay, so wanted to say, on behalf of the entire Tempe City Council, we have the pleasure today of welcoming 7 members of the National Assembly of the Republic of Armenia. So please come down when I call your name. Hegine Kachikan, who's the Deputy Chief of Staff. Lilit Markosian, who is the Head of Social, Educational, and Healthcare Expertise Division. Miriam Petrosian, the leading specialist of the Citizens Reception and Letters Division, Citizen Reception and Document Circulation Department. Mofsez Aratunyan, Press Secretary of the President of the National Assembly. Levon Kostanyan, Chief Specialist of the Session Support Division of the Secretariat of the Staff. Lilit Ohanyan, who's the Political Specialist. And Vahe Mokurchin, who's the interpreter. So just as a note before we come and join you down here, early today the delegation here from Armenia had an opportunity to meet with members of our city staff to discuss transparency in government as well as citizen engagement. I'm sure that they obviously exchanged numerous ideas and questions, and I hope they have an opportunity during their visit to explore the city of Tempe even further. And with that said, Council, let's join our delegation down here for a photo. Thank you.
And congratulations on spelling our names. I know it's very
You
hard.
know what? I was trying to, make sure
you
I
did
got.
your best.
I did the best
Bravo,
I could.
bravo.
That's very nice because she's like you messed a lot of up. But,
No, no,
but
no.
you did your best for it.
Go sideways. Go sideways.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Last one for me. 1, 2, and 3.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Next up, just want to let everybody know, of course, as always with all of our meetings, guidelines for conduct at city councils or on city council meetings are on the table near the entrance for those in attendance at tonight's meeting. We're now going to play a video with the proper protocol for ensuring the appropriate conduct at city council meetings.
The City of Tempe welcomes public comment at this time. Disruptive behavior will not be allowed. Continued disruptive behavior will lead to removal from the council chambers. We need to be able to hear everyone in the room. Behavior that disrupts, disturbs, or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of any city council meeting is not helpful and is not permitted. This includes behavior both inside and outside of the council chambers. Should individuals inside the council chambers become disruptive so that city business is not able to be conducted, the mayor will first ask that the individuals allow city business to be completed. There will be time for public comment during the call to the audience portion of the meeting. If no cooperation, the mayor will issue a verbal warning and let them know that the continued disruptive behavior will lead to removal from the council chambers. If there is still no cooperation, The mayor will issue a second verbal warning and let them know that the continued disruptive behavior will lead to removal from the council chambers. If there is no cooperation after asking and 2 verbal warnings, then the mayor will ask security officers to remove only those individuals who are causing the disruption. Security personnel should not engage in any way, but only escort them from the council chambers. If individuals refuse to leave, security personnel shall warn them that they are trespassing and that the next step will be arrest by a Tempe police officer. Tempe officers may have to arrest if individuals refuse to leave. Charges for trespass and disorderly conduct may apply, as well as other charges. Should anyone be asked to be removed, the mayor will recess the meeting.
All right, next up here, item number 3, call to the audience. The City Council welcomes public comment at this time for the issue review session and committee of the whole items on this work study session agenda. There is a 3-minute time limit per speaker. Madam Clerk, do we have any cards this afternoon?
No cards received.
All right, thank you so much. I also will look to the folks in the audience if there's anyone who wishes to address the council at this time. Could you please get my attention now? All right, seeing none, I will close that portion of the meeting and move on to item number 4, which is our issue review session. And item 4A, Mayor's Youth Advisory Commission update and recommendations. Let's see, we have Delana LaForce, the Senior Coordinator for Education and Career Empowerment, who's going to introduce the presenters. First of all, I see you everywhere. Like, I'm telling you, like, you should just carpool with me from now on, so.
It was good seeing you at the Excellence in Education Awards. It was wonderful.
Thank you. Good seeing you as always as well. And obviously, thank you to the Diabolos for putting on the Excellence in Education Awards every year. They've been, I think Madam City Manager, putting that event on since 1977, I believe. I think so.
I think so, Mayor.
I think so. No. All right, sounds good. Well, with that, I will go ahead and turn it over here to Delana.
All right, good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I'm Delana LaForce. I'm the advisor for the Mayor's Youth Advisory Commission, and we have our leadership team here who's going to present their annual updates and recommendations. And I also want to thank some of our commissioners that came to support the leadership team. So I'm going to hand it over to them. They're going to be the ones presenting today.
Hello, my name is Radi Tabatadze. I am a senior at Gilbert Classical Academy. Unfortunately, this is my 3rd and final year on the commission, but I've loved my experience here, and I'm excited to be here today.
I'm Gosamat Lim. I'm a junior at Corona del Sol, and this is my 2nd year at MIAC, and I'm currently the project management chair.
Hello, I'm the treasurer of MIAC, and my name is Punya Suresh, and I'm a junior at Corona del Sol High School, and I've served 2 years.
Just to provide a brief history of MIAC for those that may not be too familiar, the commission was established in 1980 with the hope of giving the youth the opportunity to address some of the challenges that they may be facing here in the Tempe community. Currently, we have about 30 members. They're all either residents of Tempe or they might attend a Tempe high school, and they range from 9th through 12th grade. Throughout this year and throughout our opportunity of being a MIAC commissioner, we've had the chance to advocate for Tempe's youth and provide some important input to the city council, the school board, and different stakeholders here in Tempe to address some of the issues affecting the youth here and the youth programming that takes place.
So MIAC has been really busy this year. One of our most recent events was our chairperson for mental health spoke at the East Valley Prayer Breakfast just to give some insight on mental health. And some other events we've done this year is the Unity Walk and Tempe Youth Speaks.
So for city engagement, we thank all the city programs and departments who have helped us this year. And the city programs engage with us by asking us to do some surveys for them. And they also give us expertise on any projects that we do.
Our biggest event this year was the 2nd annual Tempe Youth Talks event, which we take a lot of pride in. The Tempe Youth Talks is an event that is inspired by a TEDx Youth Talks kind of style of format where we have all of our commissioners from our different subcommittees give speeches and informational talks about the issues that they found in their specific focus category. So we kind of get an opportunity to teach a lot of high schoolers and city members, over 200 residents we had come up to this meeting this year, and we were able to give them some information and also host some engaging activities like Dress to Impress is what our committee did. It was an opportunity to keep our listeners engaged while really informing them about some of the issues that we've identified, and at the end we were able to actually have some of our local experts from the different subject matters come up and serve as panelists for all of the youth who had a lot of questions. So that was my favorite part of the event, but overall it was a huge success, and we look forward to doing it again next year.
So every year, Maya comes up with the focus for each subcommittee, and this year is mental health, education, community safety, and social justice, sustainability, and environmental justice. And with each subcommittee, they create a survey just so that way they can see what youth are thinking about with their certain subcommittee, like what initiatives need to be done and what they feel towards that topic already.
Okay. The first subcommittee is mental health, and mental health focuses on the accessibility of mental health resources within youth. And recently, our subcommittee has gotten certified in youth mental health first aid, and so now they will be able to support their peers who face mental health issues. So our group of respondents said that there is a stigma around mental health, but they feel that they have enough resources to combat that. And overall, there have been a lot of improvements for the mental health resources in the city. And yeah, okay, next one. So we have a few recommendations, but one of our recommendations would be to give mental health first aid training to all the city staff. This would be an evidence-based training which would help identify and support anyone who is in need of mental health resources.
Our next subcommittee is actually a new one, which is the Education Committee. The goal of this subcommittee was to empower students to actively participate in all of their communities, whether that is their high school, their broader city community, or within the state. We have the goal of encouraging more civic engagement and allowing them an opportunity to feel like they have a voice in their community. So when we conducted our surveys as usual, we found that students had a couple of priorities that they thought were the most important to address in their educational careers. They focused on the subject matters being STEM, environmental education, and then lastly, career and technical education. Also, when we asked them about what should be different materials that is taught in their government courses, they said they would have liked more of an emphasis on things like civics and overall engagement, voting, filing taxes, and lastly, just some overview of current events going on. Our recommendations mostly focus on finding ways to interpret and include these different priorities that students have into the curriculum. We hope that more civic engagement and more of the subject matters that were brought up in the previous slide can be implemented into the school curriculum as students hope. Mike will also be presenting these recommendations to the Tempe Union High School School Board, so we'll also be able to give them a good overview of what their students have an interest in, and hopefully we'll be able to have any change needed as can be made.
So another new subcommittee this year was community safety and social justice, and it really focuses on social challenges people face and just safety overall. And their specific focus with this subcommittee was safe driving and also teaching youth to be safe in their community in general. So a really shocking statistic we found through our survey was that 73% of respondents said they have been affected in some way by unsafe driving. And so one of our recommendations is to provide just more safe driving education to youth commuters through Tempe.
And our last and final subcommittee for this year was Sustainability and Environmental Justice, which as usual focused on promoting more eco-friendly initiatives within the city and finding ways to address the climate crisis overall, both within the community and broader. Again, in our survey, we were very glad to find that, as usual, most of the surveyors were very concerned about climate change. Something different that we did this year was choose a very specific focus, which was sustainable shopping and combating fast fashion. We were very glad to see that everyone surveyed was either somewhat likely or very likely to buy secondhand clothing, which was a big driver for the project that we did this year, which they will be talking about later. Now, we're very well aware that the city takes environmental sustainability very seriously. There's many programs that we greatly appreciate, so our recommendations for the most part this year focus on just finding ways to continue promoting these existing programs and giving students more information and education about the climate crisis, the educational issues facing Tempe specifically when it comes to the environment, things of that sort.
So, like Rati said, sustainability and environmental justice focused on fast fashion, and to combat this, we created the Eco Avenue Thrift Market, which appeared at Second Sundays on Mill. And what we did was we got donations from our community, and we also got hangers and coat rack donations from Threads. And at Second Sunday on Mill, we made it available to the entire public just to take clothes if they needed it, and also have the ability to donate to us if they felt like it. And it was just really impactful to see like how anyone who needed clothes could get it, and it was really a great outreach for us.
As far as the impact that we anticipate coming from this year's work, we hope that we can be able to create more empowered and informed youth in the community. We hope that we can enhance youth well-being overall, build stronger and safer communities, and lastly, contribute to building a more sustainable future here in Tempe.
So currently for our next steps, recruitment is our biggest focus as our applications just went out. And we also really want to continue working with city departments to really focus on strategies with their department and youth just to make sure it's all together. And do you want me?
Another issue that we faced this year was with the donations when we were having the Eco Avenue, and it was that the City of Tempe did not have a digital point of sales to receive the fundraising money that we could have gotten digitally, and so we got them with cash, but the city staff has been working with IT to come up with a solution for this. And also this year we'll be sending out the annual report with a comprehensive list of all the items that MIAC has accomplished this year.
Thank you very much for your time. Like we said, the annual report will be sent out pretty soon, so a more detailed overview of everything that we just talked about will be available, but we're open to any questions that you might have right now.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Great presentation as always. Councilmember Hodge?
Great presentation. I'm always so honored and proud when you guys report. I get to hear this twice. I'm very lucky because I'll get it at Tempe Union too. I'm excited. Just to let you know, what I would like to know what we can do, as and especially me, to help more in any of your adventures, especially when it comes down to maybe your sales or whatever. What do you want to do? Let me know what we can do more to help in that scenario. I just think that all the things that you guys are doing are great, and it's just, as I said, it's always a proud and honor to see you guys stand up and speak, and you do such a phenomenal job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Garland?
I just love all of the things that you guys were looking at, all your focuses for this year. I'm excited to see what you're going to look at focusing next year. The fact that you guys are in school, trying to get homework done and participating like you do in this MIAC program is just a testament for what great kids you are. And I thank you so much for everything you're doing. Our youth is so incredible that I'm just amazed every day. Thank you so much to Delana for helping out with our Young Women's Conference. Yes. It was incredible to be a part of that. I look forward to what we're able to do next year, but that could not have happened without the participation of MIAC. And Delana, thank you so much. You guys were amazing.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor. Councilmember Chin?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners. I just wanted to thank you for your service. Good luck to you next year at ASU. Good luck in your leadership role with MIAC. Please continue the great work. We always appreciate all of our volunteers in Tempe, regardless of age or where they are. It's all vitally important, which was why MIAC was created. And I appreciate your work and service. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Chin. Councilmember Amber?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to thank you too. I don't know that a lot of people realize this, but some of you guys have been on MIAC for more than 1 year because it's such a fantastic organization. And I'm just going to shout out to all of the Corona kids, Gracie and Quinn and Kat, I've known for a long time. My daughter Jessica is a senior at Corona right now. So every time I go to one of your events, I take lots of pictures with those two and I keep posting them on my social media. And someday they will actually repost them and I will feel really good about that. So thank you for all of your help. I know. Yes, and if any of you guys aren't seniors yet, well, I know you're a junior at Corona, so I'm assuming you're going to be again here next year. All right, well, we'll see you next year then. Thanks.
Excellent, thank you. And as always too, I mean, once again, thank you for the presentation. Every time I the MIAC youth come up here, I just keep thinking to myself, what was I doing at the age of 16 or 17? And probably not enough. But I want to just let the public know who's watching this meeting at home and those in the audience. The best thing about all of these presentations that MIAC gives each and every year are these are actually recommendations that the City Council does use in order to govern and to make policy to ensure that we're not just simply serving the current leaders in our community and the adults in our community, but that we're obviously setting up a community for the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years that will actually be one that you will be proud of and one that you can live in. So we are not just simply trying to do things for the present, we're always trying to also make sure that we're making decisions for the future and for the youth that are coming before us like yourselves. So just want to say thank you again for all your hard work and just really appreciate it. Always great recommendations and just great efforts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Want you to know, Councilmember Chin said if you're all not careful, you'll end up here with us. Or probably replacing us, so. Item 4B, Tempe Community Council Agency Review, Fiscal Year 2025-26 Human Services Funding Community Recommendations. And I see Octavia Harris already here and Nancy Blevins right there as well, so. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Octavia Harris, and I'm here as Executive Director of Tempe Community Council. Presenting with me today is Nancy Blevins. Nancy is in her 6th year on the Tempe Community Council Board. She is currently Chair of the Community Impact Committee, and this is Nancy's last and final year on the board. We will definitely miss her. And as you all know, and as a reminder, the Community Impact Committee is the governing body of the agency review funding process on behalf of the Board of Tempe Community Council.
Awesome. Thanks again for having us. I just wanted to say that we're going to talk about 3 basic things today. Our volunteer reviewers, many of whom are joining me in the audience along with some of our board members. So a big thank you to them, big shout out to them. We're going to talk about some of the changes we've had in some of our processes, as well as the money. We got to get talking about numbers, but we'll get to that. So just as a reminder, we have been doing this since 1985. It's a community-driven process, and Community Council has been around 53 years. This body in here that I'm talking to today is who initiated this, so thank you for giving us wings. Our agencies provide high-quality services to citizens of Tempe, and then we have other citizens, like the volunteers behind me, who recommend the funding, engage in human services solutions, and they give back in terms of their interest, their time, their life experiences, and sometimes their donations. And as a reminder, this is a Tempe City Council strategic priority and performance measure, number 3.10, human service grants. Okay, so here's just a high-level 10-cent review of what the process is. Back in October, November, December, we start putting together the applications and sending them out to our nonprofits to send them back in to apply for grants. Then we have our volunteers, wonderful volunteers, who read and review and score the applications. If there are questions that are lingering, we will ask for an interview, but like last year, we didn't need to do that at all this year. Then we have 2 consensus meetings, one to get some of the process stuff figured out, and then the second one to come up with what we're presenting to you here today. Then it goes to the Tempe Community Council Board for a vote, and then you are here, council presentation, and then we will distribute money starting on July 1 at the beginning of the fiscal year, and then we will begin our quarterly reports for the year. So, the application process has a little bit of a nuance to it. We had 2 funding categories. One is our renewals, folks that are invited to apply for a multi-year grant. That's bucket number 1. Number 2 is everybody else. So folks who weren't yet eligible to qualify for a renewal, or just folks that are new to us. So each of the 2 buckets have different questions and different scoring criteria, but the good news is all applications have a financial review component to them. So we're looking at these finances from year to year. And then if we needed the interviews, and again, like I said, we didn't need one this year. Okay, so what we're going to do is talk about how you get to be in the renewal process for those of you who are not familiar with that. They have to have been continuously funded for 5 or more years. It has to be the same program. They can't switch it up and do something different. They have to be trusted by the community in terms of who they are and what they're doing. And then a strong track record for delivering outcomes. Those quarterly reports that they send in really get a lot of attention, and we pay attention to them. Also, they have to have a clear mission that aligns with their vision. They have to be fiscally sound and collaborative so that they're making the most of their money and the most of our money. So some of the process changes, again, the renewal is pretty new to us. We're in our 2nd year of doing that, so we're continuing to tweak that and improve that. Then again, our reviewers this year went back to doing the financial review with the whole grant application review. They felt like they wanted a whole picture of the organization rather than having 1 or 2 groups do the financial reviews. We also decided this year we needed to put a $30,000 cap on new program requests, just to kind of level set where everybody is, and that went over just fine. We had also our continued emphasis on mental health due to what we started implementing with our community needs assessment from, 2020? 21, thank you. And so we also this year are really leveraging our grants database a lot. It's doing a lot more for us, giving us a lot more heavy lifting, which is very helpful to both our agencies and to us when we're reviewing. So, all these volunteers. This is a great picture of some of our 61 volunteers. We've got 23 new volunteers this year, and we had 38 returning. I love both of those numbers because I love new people to help us diversify as we now increased our diversity representation by 17%. But we also love our returning members who come back and bring some expertise and even a little mentorship to others that they might be reviewing with. And so that this year was 1,400 volunteer hours with almost $50,000 in in-kind contribution. Okay, so here comes the money part. We have available $1,136,000 from the general fund, water bill donations, Tempe Community Council, and Healthy Giving Campaign. So that's our total, $1.136 million. And we had this year 75 programs representing 67 agencies that applied for grants. 29 of the programs of those were eligible for the renewal. So the rest of them, the other 46, were in the other bucket of new and or returning and not yet quite qualified for the renewal process. So 10 programs returning and funded last year that we knew of, that we had, but they weren't quite ready to meet the eligibility for renewal. And then we had 36 new agencies or programs which were not funded last year. So the total requested was $2.2 million. You know what we have available, 1.136, and a difference of about $1 million, a little over. So let's talk about the renewal people first. The attendees of the final consensus meeting recommended programs for renewal for 1 additional year, and that totaled $792,451. So they went through the renewal applications just like everybody did. We sent that offer to ask them questions. We asked them questions, they answered them, and then they came back, and all of the agencies that answered back, we ended up with 26. They ended up getting recommended for funding for this coming year. So that's 26 of the 75. So then we have our other category of folks, which are new and or not yet ready for renewal status. So what we did was we asked, a couple of them had asked for a lot more money than they got last year. And so we went to them and we adjusted them to receive their 2024 funding level. The top score, we had one absolutely outstanding agency, and the volunteers and community members agreed that this agency deserved to be rewarded for such a high score. I mean, and we're talking often these points are so slim, it's by decimal points, but this one was far and above. And so they got the full request, and then we cut off the scoring at 56 and above. So if you were at 56 and above out of 70, then you got 80% of what you requested. If you were below 56, you were not recommended for funding. And that was for a total of 16 programs that were recommended in this category. 4 of them were new to us this year. So that's a total that we will be funding, recommending funding for 42 programs representing 36 agencies, including those new 4 new agencies. So we break them down by populations like we always do. We're trying to stay consistent so you guys can kind of follow along at home. We have the homeless individuals and families, working poor, children and youth, older adults, individuals with disabilities, and sexual and domestic violence survivors. You can see the dollar amounts on the screen, and you also can see how many programs that is. The only real difference this year that we're seeing is an uptick in the working poor dollars. I don't have much granular detail on that for you, but we are tracking that and making sure that we're watching that. Likewise, we also break down our funding by service category. We have crisis, stability, and self-sufficiency. And again, these numbers aren't dramatically different, but we are seeing an uptick in stability as it's getting closer and closer to the crisis number. So that's one of the things that we like to watch out for, and the things that we'll talk about with the community needs assessment as well. Okay, so as you know, our committee loves to improve things. Continuous improvement's our middle name. And we are going to work on this year improving and refining contract performance outcomes and indicators, because that's data for you all. That's something that you all can take a look at and see how many, what, and how much, and all of this kind of thing that you can track. We are also going to advocate and support for our nonprofits during this changing funding climate. We've already had to do a little bit of that in recent months, and we're there for them, and we want them to make sure that they know we have our full support. We also are implementing universal outcome measures to align with your strategies, making sure that we're always on the same page and have the same goals. Also, we're going to prioritize funding informed by our community needs assessment, which Octavia and Kim are going to talk about as soon as I get done talking. Okay, so again, hats off to these beautiful volunteers. All their names are here. You'll recognize some of them might be new to you. We couldn't do it without them. I mean, it's literally, they're bringing so much to the table and guiding through this, and sometimes it gets a little bit like making the sausage when we're coming to consensus, but we get there, and it's all because they all have the same goal too, which is to make our community better, and that's what these dollars will do. So I'd like to ask if anybody has any questions.
There we go. Thank you very much. Thank you for the presentation. Let me go with Councilmember Amberg, then Councilmember Hodge.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you guys for everything that you do. I was on the TCC board back in the day, and while I was there, I actually chaired agency review. And I will say one of the downfalls of being up here is I don't get to do it anymore, because it's like one of my favorite things to do every year. And if you haven't done it, it is phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal experience to really understand what these agencies are doing, what they're requesting. It's beautiful. I will say I'm super excited to see that TCA got the money that they got this year, especially the $34,000 for their food pantry. That was wonderful to look at. I will caution you, I'm a little concerned that the number for the continued programs reached about 800,000 of the 1.1 million. I understand that these programs are fantastic. You know, the whole saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know, probably applies to a lot of these, but I'm a little bit concerned as we keep going down the road that number is going to get bigger and bigger, and the number of new programs that we're going to be funding is going to get smaller and smaller. There are some fantastic programs that are coming down, best practices that are coming down, and I really would hate us to get into the position based on prior years and what we've done so that we're not going to have any money to fund any of these new programs because we've built in this continuously funding program. So just a word of caution for the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hodge?
Okay, thank you. I mean, every year I think you guys do a phenomenal job of of bringing this all together. You know, Councilmember Amber said the same thing, kind of what I was going to say on it too. I just want to make sure that we do be cautious that there are some new programs out there that are fresh and vibrant that we seem that it's gonna be skipped because we have to figure out a way around that, because I love the programs we have, but we as a vibrant city, we need to keep continuing to grow, and that's part of it. For the look of for the community who's listening, can you break down what it means by working poor? Because someone's already texted me already and said, what is working poor? So I just want them to understand, because this was already a text message already came to me while I'm sitting here already. So can you give kind of an idea what they mean by that? Because I think that is, everything else is kind of understandable, but they're like, what does that mean when you mean by that? What do you mean by what organizations you're working with that?
So that is actually a federal phrase of people who are low and moderate income.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would tend to be people who are usually about 200% AMI. And so, you know, we're utilizing the same language that the federal government is using, so that when we're looking at census data, it's aligning, et cetera. I personally am not a fan of that phrase, but
I think that the person who texted me is not either. That's why I kind of got that text. But thank you. I understood that, but I just wanted to make sure that it was understood out there in the community. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Let me go to Vice Mayor Garland, then back to Councilmember Amberg.
I am really looking forward to being a part of the agency review process when I'm no longer on council, because I have heard so much about it that I really do want to be a part of this process, and all the people that you get together and all the volunteers and all the service that they do. I will tell you that I have said this every single year that I have been on council. The fact that we are only getting $30,000 in our utility bills is absolutely embarrassing. I know we can do better, and please let me know if there's anything that I can continue to do. Voice it again on social media or whatever. We have more businesses and residents than 30,000, even if they're given just that $1 extra. There's so many more people that we could be contacting to increase that number so that we can give more money into the services in our community. So if anybody else that's out there listening, you can up that $1 on your utility bill to $5 or $10 a month if you'd like, and it would really increase that and really increase the outreach that we have for our community. So thank you.
Great. Councilmember Amberg, then back to Councilmember Hodge.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I totally forgot to ask this, and I'm not sure if you guys even have the answer to this, but I noticed on there that Mountain Park Health Center had withdrawn their request for funding. I mean, did they give a reason behind that?
They were, our funding was a very small piece of what that paid for, and they lost a big piece. So they weren't able to do it anymore. They are, as creative as nonprofits are, they are now looking for other ways, but they were polite enough to let us know early so we could redirect those dollars.
Okay, so where would that leave them in this continuous funding? Because I know they were in that category. If they're not going to get the funding next year, if they come back next year, and they've replaced that big piece and they ask for that money again, are they going to have to then be a new program?
To be determined.
Okay, thank you.
Like I said, this program, the renewals is new. We're learning every month about something new we need to think about, so.
And if I could add, with the renewals, it would be a 3-year cycle. So it offer that opportunity for current agencies who might have received 1 year of funding to be able to access maybe stable funding with having multi-year renewals. But then we also want to ensure that we are looking for those new programs. So thank you for noting that and making sure that we are mindful of that as well. Because that's definitely a conversation that the committee has.
Councilmember Hodge.
Okay, thank you. You know, Vice Mayor, you brought up something, a thought process when you talked about, you know, getting more money for our funding and how we do it through our utilities, our water bill. But I was going to ask, maybe we can actually bring in our MIAC students who just left, and maybe that could be one of their things that they do to help us to enhance the idea of getting that word out. Because I know our mailers, but you know, we do it through the water, but some people look at it and they just kind of guide it and throw it away. But maybe they can come up with some new innovative ideas to get that word out there that we need more funding for it. So I was just thinking, Octavia, I know you know them well, maybe bring them into the thought process of how we can get the word out in a new creative way to get people to donate more.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from council on this item? All right, seeing none.
Thank
Thank
you.
you again, appreciate it.
Thank you.
As always. And that brings us to item 4C. Oh, yeah. Tempe Community Council 2025 Human Services Community Needs Assessment. Didn't look like you went very far, Octavia, so.
Not far at all. Okay, good afternoon again, Mayor and Council. Octavia Harris, Executive Director of Tempe Community Council, and joined today by Kim Vandenwegen, who is serving as a Community Impact Manager for Tempe Community Council. Kim is also the staff person for the Community Impact Committee of TCC, and part of her responsibilities is helping to oversee the Community Needs Assessment process, which we're going to present to you today. And so, first of all, just want to share with you, this is an update on the first steps or our results of the assessment. This report of our community needs assessment is hot off the presses, and we're still really digesting a lot of the valuable information that's included within the report. This report really not only highlights Tempe's critical needs, but provides us with a lot of questions that we want to explore, some of which will be answered by our community partners who are in the field, our experts who are working in the field of human services, and experts with lived experiences, so people who either utilize services or may need human services. And we look forward to these ongoing conversations. And we hope to gather your feedback as well, Mayor and Council, either here tonight or in any future feedback sessions. We'll also be informing you of our next steps, and we'll be asking for your continuous support as we bring back our progress in early fall. And just also want to bring to your attention that the community needs assessment and the completion of it actually aligns with some Tempe City Council strategic priorities. So that includes 1.21, youth drug use and misuse, 3.10, human services grants, 3.31, poverty rate, and 3.34, community health and well-being. And this is just a snapshot of some of those strategic performance measures. There are additional performance measures with which the community, the human services community needs assessment does align with as well. Okay, so the assessment was conducted because part of the affiliation agreement that Tempe Community Council has is to complete this assessment every 3-ish years or so. We want to get some current information on current human services needs within Tempe. We want to provide not only TCC, but the community at large with relevant data to help with strategic planning as well as community engagement. We also want to support any of the human services goals and outcomes that the city may create frameworks and models for. We want to survey our residents who are eligible for services or directly in need of services. And we want to use those findings to help inform the agency review funding processes that will start in FY 2026 and 27. So forward-looking, a year ahead. And we also want to assist in determining priorities for future human services funding as well. So noted here on the screen, ASU Southwest Interdisciplinary Research Center, or CIRC, they were our contracted evaluators for the community needs assessment. And pictured here, you see Dr. Maria Aguilar Maya and her team. And we really want to say thank you to them for all of their hard work in bringing this report to life. They were the ones who collected the survey data as well as conducted our focus groups and our small group forums. Okay, next.
And I would like to spend a couple of moments to just share with you how the assessment was conducted. ASU CIRC explored more than 18 topics, including community issues, household issues, health and wellness, and populations with specific needs. They examined these topics through multiple viewpoints and methods. Initial input was from a small advisory team. Then they surveyed residents and a broad population of human service providers. They facilitated focus groups and key informant interviews with a diverse set of local human service experts along with conducting in-depth interviews with low-resource individuals from the prioritized 6 targeted populations. Through methodically exploring relevant topics through these multiple viewpoints, they were able to reveal accurate and useful insights that can strengthen service delivery. Over the next months, we will convene groups to examine the findings so far, including community members, people with lived experience, program providers, city staff, to further hone in on and determine the topics that are most relevant and most urgent. And finally, we will conclude by gathering input from a broader team of experts, leaders, and community members at a prioritization summit that will be held in July. The ASU CERC report identifies the critical areas of need that include areas of crisis where the need is really urgent, areas where resources are working but they need to be scaled to the current need, strengths that can be replicated, fostered, and promoted, and some areas that may require us completely rethinking, reimagining different kinds of ways of collaboration to achieve the desired outcomes. So this in-person prioritization summit will have the goal of identifying and discussing what potential solutions and actions should be prioritized. The select but diverse group of participants, which again will include the City of Tempe staff, leaders from the partner agencies, TCC staff, TCC board members, and Tempe residents who had previously participated in the survey. The summit will start with a presentation of the research results so that all the members will be better informed about the current state of needs and the need gaps. Then participants will be asked to rank and re-rank the top 3 actions they favor based on a series of 14 criteria, which you see here. Once the priorities are established, then we will define the goals, the strategies, and the outcome measures.
So the assessment, again, will be used to help inform 3 different areas. So agency review, as we mentioned before. So we're going to gather some additional data from currently funded agencies, the faith community, residents, and of course, city partners to create solutions for barriers and gaps in services that may exist. The Tempe Community Foundation, which is also under Tempe Community Council. New grant priorities will be given for any innovative projects that are related to gaps in services. So being really responsive to the current urgent needs of the community with the funding that's available through the endowment there. And then, of course, City of Tempe Human Services, so helping to augment and support any of the city services offered through Community Health and Human Services. Definitely trying to align priorities and strategies to have the greatest outcomes and impacts. And additionally, here's a quote here that we just wanted to make sure that we included regarding why we're doing the needs assessment and why we continue to think that this is really important at TCC. So communities should be the architects of their own well-being, designing services that are tailored to their culture, values, and needs. And we know that Tempe definitely has a very unique culture, which is one of the reasons why a lot of people like to live here and work here. And we want to continue to help support good quality of life. And so with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. Anyone on council, any comments or questions on item 4C?
Great job.
All right, great. Oh, yes, Vice Mayor Garland.
I love the information and I can't wait for it to get done. And I know that you were saying it's every 3 years. And so I think the last 2-page thing that I had with the details of the community assessment, the last one that was done, I keep referring to that and I've referred to it many times. So thank you so much for what you're doing. I think it's really important and it's great data for us to have. So thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Yes, Councilmember Hodge?
Okay, so I also heard Vice Mayor say, and both me and her are both going to do it. We're going to be on agency review the minute that we're off of council. So you got our word on that.
Are you all trying to drop like spoilers up here? Everybody keeps talking about when they're off council. What's going on here? Is there a meeting I missed upstairs?
No, I said after. I did say after. I said after.
I'm just saying, there's been a lot of talk about that. I'm getting a little worried, so.
We'll reserve some slots for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Octavia. Appreciate
All right.
that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Kim, too. All right. All right. Next up, item 4D, Tempe Works Program Update.
Well, first off, thank you all for having us to share a little bit about Tempe Works and what we've been doing with the employment and growth opportunities over the last year. My name is Jessica Wright. I'm a manager in the Community Health and Human Services Department with Homeless Solutions.
And I'm Benta Coker. I'm the Tempe Works coordinator.
So just to touch on briefly about the history of Tempe Works. Tempe Works was a program that was introduced by Councilmember Keating in 2017. It was modeled after a program in Albuquerque known as There's a Better Way, which actually is a day labor program aimed at city beautification. City of Tempe invested in developing the Tempe Works program with 2 city positions in the Public Works Department. But with the Tempe Works program model not being day labor, it was a longer-term solution for employment and a foot in the door for long-term city employment. So fast forward to 2021, where we had a Tempe Works expansion. We added 3 positions, which included a new department having dedicated Tempe Works employees with Parks and Recreation. This expansion also included a dedicated full-time coordinator for the program. Yeah. So you'll see we're happy to have Benta here with us, dedicated to the program, yep. So throughout the presentation, you're going to get to see Tempe Works participants and graduates doing the amazing work that they do as our team members and as our coworkers here in Tempe. Benta will share more, but keep in mind that these dedicated participants work just as hard on their off time as they do in these pictures. Because on their off time, they're navigating pieces of solving their homelessness, like locating and applying for affordable housing, affordable rentals, while often relying on public transportation and limited resources when they're first initially ending their homelessness.
A little overview on Tempe Works. Tempe Works is a second chance employment to housing program for individuals experiencing homelessness in Tempe. It offers 5 temporary city jobs, 2 at Parks and Recreation and 3 in solid waste. After 90 days of employment and securing stable housing, participants are recognized as program graduates and prepared to move towards long-term stability. Participants are referred and screened for eligibility. If eligible, they complete a background check and drug test due to positions being safety sensitive. Once cleared, they begin to work and progress towards stable housing. Okay. So over 133 referrals have been received this fiscal year. There are 10 graduates with 3 more expected to graduate by the end of fiscal year. 1 graduate has successfully transitioned to full-time employment with Parks and Recreation. We are also proud to share that one of our first graduates from a family composition was featured in Tempe Tribune this past week, which is a significant milestone for the program. We're also planning to celebrate our next bunch of graduates in the fall. Okay. Tempe Works values its strong partnerships with Public Works and Parks and Recreation. We also depend on community partners to provide job opportunities and are always seeking new pathways for our graduates to transition into for long-term employment.
So as you've heard, we're serving a larger demographic of individuals since we started in 2017. Where initially we were serving many single male individuals. We have now lots of female participants and graduates as well as couples graduating together and heads of households of families graduating the Tempe Works program. Other things that have been happening in the past 6 months, we've met with cities across the country that are listed on the screen. You'll see Little Rock, Baton Rouge, and Aurora. At each city's individual request to share more about Tempe Works, how it got started, and our homeless solutions efforts for the city of Tempe. So many of these cities here seemed at the precipice of where the Tempe Works program was in 2017. And interestingly enough, that Albuquerque day labor program that sparked the development of our Tempe Works program has now pivoted to shift that day labor model to be more aligned with our own long-term employment model with Tempe Works. So now, in the last 3 years, prior to this fiscal year, we saw a total of 35 Tempe Works graduates, with at least another approximately 13 anticipated for this fiscal year. So now we're approaching almost 50 Tempe Works graduates in the last 4 years total. So we recognize the need to continue to find ways to move the needle forward and continue to evolve the program. So this is what we're really excited to share with you all. The expansion efforts and what we've been working on outside of what you already know that we're doing day to day. So this includes ways that we've been partnering with employer organizations, reviewing submitted grant applications, speaking about our college partnerships, sharing more about new endeavors and shared housing that we've undertaken, And finally, discussing continued growth of our employer network.
The City of Tempe values collaboration, and I've dedicated efforts to establish networks with key partnering agencies as highlighted on the screen. This has been achieved through active networking, participation in job fairs, and employer events. These collaborations have created a force multiplier of job opportunities for participants to have access to. Additionally, we've partnered with agencies like Keys to Change for events such as Project Connect, where Tempe Works had the opportunity to table the event.
So just to speak a little bit more briefly on Project Connect, we were able to hold that on April 29th at University Presbyterian Church. It's an opportunity, it's a one-stop resource shop for folks experiencing homelessness. Here we were able to have over 30 organizations participate and work together to table the event for resources, employment opportunities, and even legal navigation. So I wanted to make sure that I gave our municipal court team a shout out as well for having a table there to help people with navigating just legal questions and what they were unsure about for housing and legal barriers. On top of that, we had 151 guests at initial count attend for resources and getting connected to resources. So we strategically placed Tempe Works booth right next to the entrance table, or the entrance of the event, so that we could have as much exposure as possible to all the folks that were attending, and including the volunteers. There were over 50 volunteers that came together for that event as well to contribute to that success. So to speak a little bit more about grant opportunities, we are always looking for opportunities to apply for grants, specifically for Tempe Works, for Homeless Solutions, for our entire department. But when speaking about Tempe Works, we have currently currently applied for 2 different opportunities here for grants. One's to Tempe Diablo's Charities, and one to the Maricopa County Tribal Gaming Grants for security deposits and move-in assistance. We know when folks are in their first 3, 6, 9 months of employment, money is really tight. So these grants would be essential for folks that are ending their homelessness, that are moving into their own place. And you'll see on the screen, Binta has established a strong relationship with Dignity Foundation, which is a nonprofit who provides customized shopping trips for folks experiencing homelessness that are ending their homelessness, moving into housing. We know that's a limited resource, so some of these grant opportunities can also be applied to move-in kits, because we know moving into a new home, it's fantastic. We love getting folks moved in. Moving into empty floors is entirely different than moving into an inflatable mattress, some pots and pans, and some hygiene items. So we're excited about that. We've also submitted an application for the cost of a Tempe Works team member, knowing that we have a one-woman show here who wears a lot of hats and does an amazing job, but adding additional team members could exponentially impact the program in many ways.
Having a full-time Tempe Works employee would significantly strengthen the program's day-to-day operations. This role would provide consistent support through one-on-one career coaching, resume writing, and accompanying participants to job fairs and accessing resources. This position would help Tempe Works participants with overcoming employment barriers and offer vital assistance with landlord engagement and housing searches while significantly increasing the number of clients we could serve. Tempe Works has been collaborating with the University of Las Vegas, where a cohort from their master's level program is examining Tempe Works for their capstone project. They're focusing on program development and graduate follow-up strategies to see how to enhance the program. We're excited to see the outcome of their project and any suggestions they have. We also maintain a strong partnership with ASU for volunteer opportunities, as well as their shared housing initiatives.
So I get to speak a little bit more about shared housing because that's very new to us. We know with over 650,000 people experiencing homelessness living on the street nationally every night, we have to find ways to really maximize opportunities for housing, maximize the availabilities that are out there. So this led our team first to do a deep dive into a more thorough understanding of what is shared housing. First, we attended the national conference that was facilitated by the Shared Housing Institute in October. There we learned what cities and jurisdictions all over the country are doing. And speaking to jurisdictions, even as far as Guam, we talked about shared housing and how we can grow the initiative. And while we were there, we gained really a multitude of skills and knowledge. We learned about how to maximize rental opportunities for 2, 3, and 4 bedroom units using bifurcated leases and utilities that are bifurcated as well, which opens up new opportunities for housing for folks that maybe can only afford 1 room. We learned how to operate these types of leases under the HUD-funded programs. And we gained tools on how to facilitate things like regional roommate matching, and just how to speak to landlords about the benefits of participating in shared housing. And Bint is going to expand on this, but we learned about the huge impact of shared housing that it can have on the population that we serve. So when we came back, we returned to Arizona. We got more ingrained with Arizona State University, specifically with their Action Nexus, which includes shared housing.
Yes. Shared housing offers multiple benefits, including lowering cost of rent, reducing isolation, and increasing access to higher quality housing. Tempe Works actively engages in shared housing case conferencing, which focuses on pairing compatible housemates, navigating housing options, and supporting clients with speaking to landlords and lease navigation. Shared housing is a viable option for Tempe Works participants and has become a topic of conversation because of the rising cost of living, making this an affordable option for our clients exiting homelessness. This graph illustrates the average cost of living for a two-bedroom apartment in Tempe, broken down by affordability levels. The blue columns represent the cost of rent at 30% income, reflecting what is considered affordable for a very low-income household. The gold columns show the cost at 40% of income, which would be moderate affordability. The green columns represent the fair market rate, which represents the standard rental rate for an apartment. This breakdown helps visualize the gap between affordable housing and fair market housing in Tempe.
So finally, Tempe Works has really focused its efforts on expanding participating employers within the program. Binta spoke about the need for employers starting at a minimum rate of $18 to $22 an hour to support housing sustainability. We also spoke about the wide range of demographics of folks that we're serving now in the program versus when we first initially started. And even more wide than that is the range of talent, work skills, fields of interest, and passions that we have in our participants. So we know we need to continue to work to increase the variety of employers for both new participants and graduates in the Tempe Works program. We're always seeking opportunities both within our city departments and community to connect with the program for contract work opportunities or temporary opportunities that are needing committed, hardworking individuals like the ones that serve here in our Tempe Works program. It'd be ideal to add opportunities for employment that are not considered safety sensitive as well. So both advocating for this within our city departments as well as within the community to add new partners to connect with Tempe Works to join our team will have meaningful impacts for Tempe Works participants for years to come. So folks can express interest in that by emailing tempeworks@tempe.gov. And now I've got the privilege of going ahead and showing a video highlighting the experience of some of the employers and participants in Tempe Works.
Tempe Works is so much more than the day worker programs you see across the country. Ours is a first-in-the-nation model that gives people experiencing homelessness social services, housing, and employment that builds career experiences from day one and gives them a complete path to self-sufficiency.
We teach them how to prioritize their time management with workflow, quality control, inventory management, recycling, and warranty processing. Another big thing that they learn over here is teamwork. Some participants haven't had that opportunity from whatever walk of life they've been on to have fellowship with somebody else to work alongside with them. So it is extremely gratifying to watch them grow and progress in their career. To even keep in contact, several participants I talk to routinely and they update me on their progress. The Tempe Works staff works very closely with the participants and helps them get to the next step. They are with them 100% every step of the way, and you have a great opportunity to be part of that.
I think this program helps benefit employers by giving the employer an opportunity to train somebody who may not have the experience, but yet bring somebody on board to take care of miscellaneous tasks. We have employees from the Tempe Works program that work within our custodial team. So it's like a starting point, and then from there we provide opportunities as well for training with maintenance, with facilities, within the facilities of parks, or with parks furnishings, assembly, different things like that. So it's a great opportunity to start from a ground up, and you can train employees to do bigger and better things depending on what their experience might be or what their capabilities might be.
Our homelessness issue is going to take a village to address. And us employers can play our part by creating job opportunities, livable wage job opportunities for our former unsheltered residents of Tempe so that they can get on with their lives. And what's great about it as an employer is, of course, there is this human aspect to it, but also there's a business aspect, right? I'm an employer. I have roles that need to be filled. I have difficulties finding the appropriate people to fill those roles, and Tempe Works is an easy resource to finding qualified candidates to bring on board.
I have a full-time job, 40 hours a week, benefits, medical, retirement plan. It's helped me reconnect with my family. It's helped me to be successful, which I never thought I would. Without Tempe Works, I probably wouldn't have been where I'm at today.
Tempe Works changes lives.
Tempe Works changes lives.
Tempe Works changes lives.
Please partner with the City of Tempe and help us change more lives, bring more benefits to those experiencing homelessness in our city.
So thank you all so much for giving us the opportunity to come back and share with you, and we're open to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much for the presentation, Vice Mayor.
So I had one comment, but now I have two after seeing that video. But the first one is, I had mentioned a long time ago, a number of months ago to Tim, and we were waiting for you to get hired, because I thought of an idea of using the same process that we were using for landlords, getting landlords, inviting people that own properties to come and be a part of our Section 8 housing process. But I thought, wow, why don't we do that with Tempe Works, where we council members, other people, we could be handing out flyers at businesses that we go to and inviting them to come to an event where they could learn more about Tempe Works and possibly recruit them to be a part of the process. So I still think that could be a possibility, because that landlord event is so incredible that we've done. So anyway, just kind of throwing that out there again. If that can happen, I'd love to be able to help, and I'm sure Councilmember Keating would like to help with that too, because I mentioned this to him also. And then the other one is, have we shared this video with the Tempe Chamber? Because it would be great for them to have it and share it with all of their members that they have right now.
I think that this was shared actually when it was first put out, and then we created this about 1.5 years ago or so. So it is a fantastic video. And I believe it's been shared, and we can intentionally make sure we share it again. And I think that's also a great idea for us to work on putting that together, what you suggested first.
Great.
Councilor Hodge?
Thank you. This presentation always warms my heart. I know Councilmember Keating's not here, but I know this is dear and near to his heart. I remember when he talked about it when he started it, when I wasn't even on council. We just been good friends for a long time. And I remember how excited he was about it when it started. So, and he's never lost that passion. My question is, have we ever thought about working with Habitat for Humanity? Meaning that maybe if they can start building in and even start to build on their own houses, they can even work together, because you're talking about sharing, but how about sharing something that they own? Because you never feel, just that ownership of not just renting, actually bringing in that wealth into them. That's one question I wanted to ask. That's something that we can work on the housing side. Second off is, what happens to our graduates? Do we keep up with them? Do we find out how they're doing from time to time? I would love to hear from some of our graduates of what they're doing and, the success stories. We need to, it's always something to build on to see exactly what happened to them. That's something we can go on, and it fits right in with Vice Mayor's conversation about bringing it out in the community. If we have their stories to tell, what happened to them after they finish and they graduate and continue on with their success.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Absolutely. I think that that's a great idea to get connected with Habitat for Humanity. I don't know historically that this program's ever been, but we would love to. We love getting connected with new resources. And I can see that being something huge for a family or a person that's a graduate. As for your second piece, we're definitely, I'm sorry, can you speak on that a little bit?
As far as the graduates, Periodically, I'm able to track down graduates. As I said in the presentation, I was able to connect with the family who was in the newspaper this past weekend. So she's doing well. She actually works in the Tempe School District as a substitute teacher. So periodically, I am able to keep up with some of the current graduates. But being on one woman show, sometimes it is a little difficult at times too.
Well, we want to try to help you with that. I mean, that's one of the things we heard is that you're trying to get some help. A second part to that, I had a caveat to it. When you were talking about until we can get you some more help, there is like, there's teachers, the retired teachers, and they always tutoring just the students, and maybe we can get them to come in and start helping who needs high school graduations. If they want to go off to college, help them get into whatever they want to do. If they want to, study for a trade school, to get into that. So also look into our retired teachers who, that's their main thing is they still want to teach, they still want to help. And maybe until you could get more help, they can be of assistance to you on the education part of things. And even if they can help them fill out applications or how to do a resume, all those things that you're doing by yourself, they can actually help with that too.
I love that.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. And just to add on to what Bento was saying also about expansion, we're also using some of our college partnerships, like our UNLV team right now is specifically looking to develop a structure for follow-up for our graduates.
Yes.
That way, when we have the capacity to be doing the regular follow-ups with folks, we have a structure in place and a way to go ahead and move about that. So we're looking forward to having some of those pieces from some of the students and innovative ways that they're coming up with to follow up with for us too.
I got one more thing. I'm telling you, my mind is running. Another thing is I was thinking maybe we could work with Rio Salada to see if we can get maybe some scholarships. So if they do want to go off to college afterwards, they can get into it too. Kay Smith has been a great partner with us, and she's the president of Rio Salada. Maybe we can look into that and maybe the community colleges to get them on the next level.
Love that.
All right, thank you. I think I'm done now.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else on council with any other comments or questions on this item? All right, once again, thank you so much. Great job, as always. All right. All right, next up here, item 5, call to the audience. The City Council welcomes public comment at this time for the Committee of the Whole items on this work study session agenda. There is a 3-minute time limit per speaker. Madam Clerk, do we have any cards?
None received,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak? If so, please get my attention. Yes, please. Please come forward, state your name and city of residence. You have 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is John Elvis Tasca. I want to begin by thanking each of you for your service to the city. I know the weight that comes with public leadership, and I appreciate the time and energy and commitment to Tempe. I was born here, and I still live here in the same neighborhood, just next door to the house I grew up in. My roots are very personal. My parents' first landlord was Harry Mitchell Sr. Walt Richardson has always felt like family, and Hugh Hallman and I both served as the student body presidents at Coronado High. These connections aren't just history, they're part of why I care so deeply about this town. After today's meeting and a few others that I've attended, I want to acknowledge something clearly. I see that budgets are tight. I see that you're doing what you can with what you've got. And I respect the balancing act you face every time you sit in these chairs. That said, I also come with concern. I've been quietly meeting with dozens of local leaders, business owners, and community organizers. And what many of them are echoing is what I also feel. The public's trust in local government feels strained. People want to feel heard, and I know you give them that. They want to see leadership that doesn't just respond, but listens first and leads with values that reflect their daily lives. Meanwhile, national issues are arriving at our doorstep. Climate instability, housing pressures, digital surveillance. The erosion of public trust and the push of federal overreach into local decisions. These aren't distant. They're showing up at our schools, our neighborhoods, and of course our budgets. I know Tempe feels the responsibility to meet those challenges with clarity, compassion, and a willingness to lead. I'm not a career politician at all. I'm a builder, an organizer, a problem solver. I've worked with youth, I've worked with elders, artists, and advocates, and I've spent most of my life in service to people who often feel furthest from power. So I want to introduce myself and let you know that I'm here to contribute, to support, to help Tempe stay grounded in what makes it special, and to prepare for what's next with transparency, care, and purpose. Thank you for the work that you do, and thank you for letting me introduce myself tonight.
Thank you, appreciate it. Are there any other cards in the audience or anyone else wishing to speak? If so, please get my attention. All right, seeing none, I'll close that portion of the meeting and move on to item number 6, Committee of the Whole. First up, 6A, Proposed Council Subcommittees. Per City Council Rule 7, subsection 2B, any 2 members of the council may propose the formation of a subcommittee at a work study session of the council by identifying the purpose of the proposed subcommittee and the proposed members of the subcommittee and obtaining approval of the majority of the council. So I will now look to my colleagues to see if there are any proposals for a new council subcommittee at this time. No? Okay. Next up, item 6B, council subcommittee status updates as needed or recommendations for council direction. First of item 6B1, heat safety for Tempe and Contract Workers Council Subcommittee, which is our proposed heat safety ordinance. Councilmember Hodge?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I want to start off by thanking Councilmember Keating for bringing this important issue forth on the forefront and proposing a creation of the subcommittee for the heat safety for Tempe and contract workers during our January 30th historic study session. I also would like to thank Councilmember Amber for serving alongside me on the subcommittee and for her dedication at advising workers' protection. The subcommittee was started with exploring strategies and policies improving workplace heat safety for Tempe public and contracted workers. Over the few past months, we engaged with labor, public health organizations, reviewed policy over Arizona cities, and collaboration with city departments to ensure our ordinance will recommend is both meaningful and practical. We also sought in public input. 2 committee meetings has been held and over 53 public surveyed respondents, 96% expressed support for moving forward with this ordinance. Today, the subcommittee is seeking consensus from this body for the heat and safety ordinance to the May 22nd regular council meeting for formal consideration. I respectfully request for our support in moving this important measure forward to protect workers for our most valuable during the heat extreme times. Thank you, Council. This is from Burdetta, Councilmember Hodge, Councilmember Amber, and Councilmember Keating.
Great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Councilmember Hodge. Let me see if there's any council members who have any comments or questions on this item. All right, seeing that, Mr. City Attorney, just a quick question. This is on a forthcoming regular council meeting agenda, so do I need to have any consensus from council on this item?
Mayor, it is on the tentative agenda right now to be published by the clerk, so I think the clerk is relying on the consensus of the council to have it move forward, so you should make sure we have the consensus.
All right.
I say I would like to move it forward.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Councilmember Amber?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. It was a fantastic subcommittee. I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot. I also want to thank Keaton. He worked his little booty off for the last couple of months on this. I'm super proud of him. I know that Randy is incredibly proud of him. Councilmember Keaton is incredibly proud of him too, but I just wanted to give a little shout out to him because he did a fantastic job.
Thank you, Councilmember Amberg. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like Councilmember Hodge?
And I apologize, Keaton. I was going to say something, but I don't know what happened. And also, I want to thank all of the employees of all what they have done to get this moving forward too.
Excellent, thank you. All right, looks like, Mr. City Attorney and Madam City Manager, we do have consensus to move forward with this item on an upcoming regular council meeting agenda. All right, let's see. Next up, I'm going to see if any council members have any verbal updates to provide regarding their existing council subcommittees as listed on this evening's agenda. First of all, item 6B2, Drink Spiking Education and Prevention Council Subcommittee. Councilmember Keating is not here, so we will skip through that one and move on to 6B3, which is Increased Advocacy for Tempe Youth with Disabilities Council Subcommittee. And I'll turn to Councilmember Hodge.
Yes, our next meeting is on May 30th at 1 p.m. and myself and the mayor will be wrapping up our subcommittee.
Sounds good to me. Thank you. Next up, 6B4, Revitalization of Tempe Town Lake Council Subcommittee. Councilmember Amberg.
Mr. Mayor, no updates right now. We are waiting until the results of the RFP and RFQ come back, which will be in a couple months.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Takes me to item number 7, which is future agenda items. Just a note here, council members may request that an agenda item be added to a future issue review session, but in accordance with the open meeting law, there should be no discussion on the item other than to clarify the request. So would any council members like to add an agenda item to a future issue review session? All right, seeing none, I'll close that discussion and move on to item number 8, which is adjournment. The next scheduled work study session will be on June 12th, 2025. We are adjourned at 5:25 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.